Well, good morning. Welcome into My Sweet Home Living. My name is Tracy Campbell, where I love to inspire you with all kinds of things, DIY and crafting. If a rustic country living style is yours, then come on in. I think you'll enjoy what I had to bring you today. It's a DIY craft idea number one. I'm going to be putting together several crafting ideas that you can use to maybe create something handmade for some of your gifts that you need to be giving or preparing for this season. So I'm going to bring you along as I do that, and hopefully you'll enjoy the ideas that I share with you as well. I'm just making sure that we're shared over into the Craft on the Clock group, because this is a special 45-minute DIY craft show in the Craft on the Clock group where you can watch live crafting all day, Monday through Friday. We would love to have you over there. Listen, I'm a hot mess this morning. It is it is cold. You might be able to see outside. We're covered with snow. I've been outside tending to the chickens and doing some outside things this morning. I came in, I'm like, holy moly, there's no sense in fixing the hair. I got to go back out in the snow and the cold in a little bit. So it's just kind of a perfect day to stay in the house and work on some Christmas gifts. So that's what we're going to do today. Hello, Miss Beth. How are you? I hope you're doing good. So I don't know about y'all, but it's just a good day to stay cozy and do these kinds of things inside today, which I think is a perfect day. Good morning, Miss Teresa. Good morning, Patty. How are you, friends? Listen, I have a whole table spread out with some beautiful fabrics. We're going to be creating something today that anybody on your gift list could use. How many of you like to get gifts that you can actually use, right? Well, that means you probably want to give some gifts that people can actually use too. Everybody has keys, right? Well, today I'm going to show you how easy it is to create a little key fob wristlet. You can customize these in lots of different ways, and they're super easy to get your hands on the materials that you'll need to create them. Thank you, Miss Mary. I've already painted the white. I showed you all some pictures a couple of weeks ago. I need to give you some updated pictures. I haven't had a chance to work on a lot of it in the last probably week, well, since Thanksgiving. It's been a little busy, but I did paint the whole base. It's all black underneath now, so it's going to be matching. It's a work in progress. It's slow. Just whenever I get a spare moment, which is not very often, I'll squeeze in here and do a few things, but I still am painting all my shelves. I have all of my furniture in here. It's just now it's time to finish organizing and painting it all. So good morning, Miss Mindy. You love my chicken earrings. These are my Christmas chicken earrings. I thought, oh, it's the perfect time. I need to start wearing my Christmas chicken earrings. How are you all? Well, listen, if you have some scrap fabrics, you're going to love this project. And the items that you'll need to kind of put these together, you can buy them in bulk. So if you have a lot of like grandchildren or like a bunch of nieces and nephews, or maybe some ladies at work, or maybe just like a Sunday school class ladies, just any kind of group, and you want to give them all something kind of little, but something special, this is the perfect gift idea. And you can really customize it with fabric color choices to mix and match personalities, or you could give them one for each season. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of things that you could do with this idea. So I just made me a little primitive style one using some fabric from my sweet friend Esmeralda over at Lovett's Garden. This is some of the fabric that she had sent me. And so I created my first key fob wristlet with one of her fabrics. So you can use these and make these for all different styles. You can make them for guys, for girls, you know, teens. Teens are driving too, right? No, so you can customize them for all kinds of different personalities and people on your list, okay? So what I have done, I'm going to show you the hardware that you can get. Now listen, this hardware is also available on Amazon. So if you don't get out and go shopping or anything like that, you can get these on Amazon. I have looked. I have not used the exact sets on Amazon. I have seen others use those sets, and it seems like they work pretty well. They have really good reviews as well. So I'm going to be sending the link to that set for you. It includes the little key fob pieces. It has, let me just open these. These are from Hobby Lobby. I grabbed these at Hobby Lobby. My Hobby Lobby has sold out. I was going to grab another set of these yesterday, but they were sold out. But they have 6 sets for $3.49 at Hobby Lobby, and this in its sewing area, like where you have like the sewing scissors and the sewing threads and all the little gadgets and tools for sewing. But this is what a set is, okay? It includes the clasp, and then it includes the ring, all right? This is a set, and there are 6 sets in this little package from Hobby Lobby for $3.50. So do the math, 6 gifts. If you're going to create 6 gifts, $3.50, that's not a bad price, okay? Now, I have not compared the prices to those that are on Amazon, but that's pretty easy, pretty good deal, I think. So you're going to need this. The other thing that you're going to need is a set of stained glass, what do they call these? Metal running pliers. Whew. I did a little bit of research. You can get these at Hobby Lobby. They do go on sale occasionally for 40% off. Regular, they're $9.99. Hobby Lobby and Amazon are the only 2 places that I can find them. And you really kind of do need these. So I wouldn't skimp on these. So wait for them to go on sale at Hobby Lobby or grab them on Amazon. Amazon, the sets come with like multiples of these and a set of these. So that might be your better bargain, so you're not hunting all over online, or if you can't go to Hobby Lobby. But these are just some metal pliers. They're a little bit different than regular pliers. You see, they're kind of flat. They open up. But the biggest thing about these is that they are about 1 inch wide, and they are covered with a silicone coating on the tips. Okay, those are the things that you need to find. And everywhere I look, in Hobby Lobby, they are in the stained glass section. There is kind of back where the jewelry items are, like the charms and things like that. They're in that little area, okay? So just want to share with you what I'm using today so that if you want to create this same project, you'll know exactly where to find it. And I'll share the Amazon link with you on my broadcast channel and my Telegram channel later today, okay? All right, so now what you're going to need is you're going to need some fabrics. How many of you have fabrics stashed away, okay? Listen, it's time to pull out the stashes. It's time to use the stash. So what I have done is I have pulled out some fat quarter bundles, some coordinating fat quarter bundles. I've also have a link to some fat quarter bundles that are on Amazon that you can also order. Now, fat quarter, what is a fat quarter? If you're new to sewing, fat quarters, what they are, they're 21 inches long by 18 inches wide, or vice versa. You know what I mean? 21 by 18, 21 and a half by 18. You get the gist. They're kind of roughly around that size. And these are fat quarter, 100% cotton, okay? Yes, Miss Esmeralda has many of you stocked up on fabrics. This would be the perfect opportunity to use some of those fabrics for this type of project. I'm going to be sharing several fabric-oriented gift-giving ideas with you over the next 2 weeks. So pull those fabrics out and we're going to get to using them. These fabrics, I have some from Miss Esmeralda. I also had some fabrics from a subscription box that I was subscribed to earlier this year called Mrs. Quilty. And what they do is they send you like a bundle of like coordinating fabrics together that are all fat quarter size. And it made it easy for me to kind of coordinate. I'm going to try to do some mix and matched colors and mix and match fabrics, but I'm going to keep it simple today. And once you kind of get the gist of how to do it simply, then you can kind of change it up and get a little experimental with it. But as you see here on my table, good morning, Miss Kim. Good morning, Miss Pam. Let's adjust the camera a little bit so you can see what I have on the table. Look at all this. Let me see here. We got all kinds of things. Okay. I'm making sure that I can see my comments from you right here while you're watching from the back. How is that? So my fabric bundles what I like to do is I just kind of like to pull them out and put some mix and match, some color coordinated pieces together. Like, look, all three of those colors look cute together. These purple butterflies and those coordinate. You know, teens, if you're shopping and making these for like your nieces, like young teens that need key fob wristlets, you might want to go with some different fabric choices. So look at these. Look how fun these fabrics are. Wouldn't these be super cute? Some that are a little more maybe trendy or kind of lend themselves to more teenage-ish. But I'm loving these like dark, of course, dark primitive colors with this. This is the one I made my first one out of. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Now, I will say, for the key fobs, they're kind of a smaller item. So if you're going with a large print, let's say this right here. Let's look at this print. This has some larger pieces on it. You're not going to really get a good feel for this fabric. Just so, like, for example, fold it in like an inch width. And that gives you an idea of what your key fob wristlet would look like. They're only going to be an inch wide. Good morning, Miss Karen. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Linda. So if you're kind of torn on what fabrics would look best, just do that. Just fold them in an inch, and then that'll kind of give you a look at what they would look like, okay? So the sky is the limit with these. Just have fun. If you have a lot of fabrics, pull some of them out and kind of sort them into like color choices or, you know, whatever kind of vibe you're going for. I'm going to just get my little piles and set them over to the side for right now. And I'm going to show you. Oh, I forgot to tell you one more thing you're going to need. And let me show you. And you can get it at Hobby Lobby as well. I'm going to be working with one of these. I think I'm going to work with this dark. This is a dark. This reminds me of like a winter. Look at that. This is from Miss Esmeralda. I love that. Kind of reminds me of a good winter color. So I'm going with that color today for the one I'm going to show you today on video. But you're also going to need something called fusible interfacing. Okay. This is from Hobby Lobby, $3.99. I do believe it goes on sale as well. Heat and Bond fusible interfacing. Okay. This is a package and it has tons of them in it. So it gives you like that sturdiness to it. So if you've ever bought something and it's kind of like, think of it like a cosmetic bag, like a tote bag or like a makeup bag. It has some substantial like thickness or like sturdiness to it that you don't quite know how to describe. It gives it that more finished feel and it's not flimsy. So if I didn't use the interfacing stuff that I'm going to show you today, this would just like flop over and be real like floppy and bendable, right? This still is flexible, but it's sturdy. There's a difference, okay? So you want that substantial little look to it. So you're going to need this, and it's really cheap, and a little bit goes a long way. So $3.99 for this package, and I do believe it goes on sale. So you'll want to grab that as well at Hobby Lobby. So these are the 3 things that I have grabbed from Hobby Lobby for this project, okay? And with this, we're going to be able to make tons and tons of little key fob wristlets, okay? Hi, Miss Donna and Sharon. How are you all? Okay. So let me pull out my cutting mat. My cutting mat is warped. Guess what's on my Christmas list this year? A giant cutting mat. I mean, I'm going like big, like 2 by 3, 2 foot by 3 foot cutting mat. This one is just wobbly and everything. I think it got a little too close to my heat tool and it kind of warped it. But I'm making do for now. I'm making do for now. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I need a very clean, straight edge when I cut this. So we're not going to really be ripping the fabric today, okay? And I need precise measurements for this. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to shake the camera on you. You're going to need precise measurements. So you're going to need a measuring tool of some kind, which I'm just using one of these clear rulers, okay? You can grab these at Hobby Lobby too. If you don't have one of these, these are good tools to use for any kind of sewing project that you may come up with to work on. Here's the thing. I forgot my train of thought here. So my key fob, I think a good length is this is about 5.5 inches, okay? It's a good size that you can slip over your wrist if you need to, but it's also a good size just to kind of hold on to. And I think it's a good size for your purse. It's not overly large and chunky. For me, this is just right. So the measurements that I give you today will be for this. Now, you can make it long as you want. If you want to make this more of a, what do they call them that you wear around your neck? A lanyard? A lanyard? You can make this long like a lanyard if you want, okay? But my measurements today will give you a 5.5 inch long wristlet, okay? There was something else I was thinking about as I was talking and I've lost it, but we'll talk as we go. So come on, let's make it. Same size. All right. So I think this is already kind of cut on a straight edge. So if this is 5.5 inches long, you see it's folded double over. So that means my length total needs to be 11 inches long. So I'm going to go this way, okay? And ideally, you would like to iron this so that it's good and smooth. So let's turn on the iron. We got all kinds of things on the table today. But I think I'll be able to cut it just fine to begin with. So I'm going to line this up. Let me turn my cutting board this way, cutting mat rather. And I can't wait to get a unwarped cutting mat on my table. All right. So I've lined it up along one of the lines on my cutting mat, okay, so that I know it's straight on one side. It is straight. So now, let me just put something up here to kind of hold this fabric in place for a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure over 4 inches, all right? Let me zoom in and let me zoom down, tilt it down so that you can see what I'm working on here. I need to be 4 inches wide and 11 inches long, all right? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 inches. It's going to be right there. And I'm just going to kind of fold it over. This is how I worked around this the other day. I couldn't remember. I tried several different ways to get it just right, and this ended up being the way I like to do it the best, actually. It doesn't matter how you do it, just as long as your strip is 4 inches wide by 11 inches long. All right, so right about there is 4 inches. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some little clips, some little fabric clips, and I'm just going to clip that right there. And let me just make sure that all the way down this strip, I'm still at 4 inches, okay? I think out of this one strip here that I'm making, let's see how long this strip is. I think it should be around, if it's close to 22 inches, I can get 2 out of this cut, and that would be nice. I'm just making sure that I'm folded and everything's even here. All right, so I have clipped it there. Let me see who's in the comments. Good morning, Miss Rosie. Good morning, Miss Pat. Good morning, Jeannie, Joe Helen. Y'all are in the house. So good to see you all this morning. All right, so since I have that folded over, what I'm going to do next, if you don't have an iron, I'm going to just move my cutting board out of the way for a minute. If you don't have a room for like an iron or something like that, you can take one of these. This is a seam roller. And I did this on my first one that I created. You can take this and just roll it down the edges, and it kind of makes a crease for you, and so that it's easier to see where you need to cut. All right, just give it a little bit of pressure, and then what it does is it creates that little seam. Do you see that? That little folded edge. So that's a good way to kind of skip the iron if you don't have an iron handy, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I have this little craft ironing mat, which I need a larger one of these too. But we're going to make do. We'll make do with what we have. What I'm going to spread this out, and I'm just going to give this a quick press with my iron so that it flattens out all of those other creases that were already on that fabric. Is it on? Is it on? It had turned off for a minute. Good morning, Miss Ruth. I think so too, Miss JoJo. And everybody, I mean, everybody has keys, right? So you can really give those to anybody, you know, your hairdresser. You know, it's the perfect gift for somebody that has everything already. And it's just a little token of something handmade and sweet that I think is the perfect gesture to give. You know, you can make a whole set of these, keep these along with you in your purse or whatever, pull one out and give it to somebody, and, you know, really quick. Maybe somebody you just didn't think about until the last minute, and you think, oh yes, I wish I had something, you know, special to give them, you know. So that's perfect to make a set of these and to give them to somebody. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do now. Since I have, let me grab a, sorry, I'm reaching in front of the camera. I'm thinking what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to use my rotary cutter this time. Now, let me spread this out, and I just like to have that crease. You might be thinking, well, this is double the work, but if you cut it just right, I like to have that crease there sort of as my guide. Okay, so I know I'm going to cut along that line. I'm going to use my rotary cutter. Cut along that folded, that ironed. Oh, goodness. We got Littlefoot in here. I think it's just a trash man, Milo. Everything's good. The rooster's crowing, Milo's barking, Bongo's snoozing. He could care less. Have you all seen the picture of my little sewing buddy that I have right now? I'm dog sitting my sister's little dog, Milo. And he's a barker. He's a barker. Chapstick holders. Yes, that's a great idea, Miss Sarah. Okay. So I'm going to move the cutting mat down. And, oh, no, I need that cutting mat. I forgot. I got to cut one more thing. One more thing, then we'll be done with the cutting mat temporarily. We're going to pull out this fusible interfacing. And I need a 2-inch strip. Okay? Now, here's what I'm doing. Milo! Cool it, buddy. Okay. Line it up. And I like to cut with my, here's how I can do this. This is what I should have done earlier. With my rotary cutter, I only like to cut on the right side of my ruler, because that means my blade can go right up next to the edge and I get that clean, straight edge. So this is the fusible interfacing that I was showing you a little bit ago. And this is going to go on the inside. See, it just unfolds almost like paper. Well, I didn't get that little spot right there. Okay. It just gives you like a little stable feeling, okay? Okay, so let's fold this back up. I'm going to put it back in here. This is the Heat and Bond brand of fusible interfacing. Looks just like this from Hobby Lobby. Okay, let's hide that. Okay, hide this. We're done with the cutting board. Now what I need to do, we're going to pull back over the ironing mat, and with this fabric strip that we're working on, I want to fold it in half, and I want to press it, okay, so that I get that real clean, crisp edge. You're going to fold it in half, and then we're going to fold it again so that we have it into fourths. All right, so fold it in half, give it a quick press so that you get that nice clean edge. All right, all the way to the end. Now, at this point, I'm going to take each half and fold it in half towards the center. So like I said, we're going to basically be folding this into fourths, okay? This is kind of hard. Let me stand up. I can see what I'm doing much better when I'm looking overhead versus sitting at eye level almost. All right. Give that a quick press, and that will help your folds stay nice, crisp, and clean while you're working with it. And I'm telling you, it will help so much. Just let me go ahead and fold this one in, and I'll iron them both at the same time. Oh, that's hot. Well, I need a bigger ironing mat. I thought I was going to be able to do them both at the same time. This one wants to keep popping up on me. So let's fold this over. Do you all see how I'm doing that? Basically folding it in towards the center. We're not stitching anything just yet, okay? That will be in just a minute. But we're basically getting ourselves prepared to do the stitching next. And the stitching goes super quick. All right, so your measurement for your fabric needs to be 4 by 11. Now mine is longer just because my fabric started out longer, so I'm hoping I might be able to get 2 wristlets out of this one. Let's see. Oh gosh, that's so hot. Let's see how long this is. This is 10 and a half. I'm just like a ½ inch short, but that's okay. I'll probably go ahead and just make a shortened version of it. Here is my 2-inch wide strip of interfacing. Okay, now the width has to be 2 inches. We're gonna see how I'm opening this up, and I'm going to place this 2-inch strip in the center, in between those crease lines that we've created, okay? And I'm gonna fold it back over on itself, just like so. And let's press it down. Good morning, Miss Robin, how are you? No steam for this, okay? No steam, just high heat, okay? That's all you need for this. Good morning, Miss Charlotte. Diane shared this to your sister-in-law. She is a sewer. Awesome. This is a really easy project if you don't consider yourself an experienced sewer. I encourage you to try it. This is something I think is a great beginner project. And with a little bit of help, I think even the youngest, even the younger generations could give this a try. All right, I'm just pressing that and getting some heat down on that. That fusible interfacing does have a little bit of adhesive to it, so that heat will activate that as well. Good morning, Miss Shelley. Good morning, Miss Brenda. Okay, I don't think I've pressed this quite long enough for it to, I've moved it around a little bit too much. That's what I've done. Okay. This point, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and measure my length. I need 11 inches. My ruler is 12. So let me scoot it down. And I'm going to cut it right at the 12-inch mark. I'm measuring at the bottom here. See, this little ruler is see-through. So I can start it and stop it right at the 11, the edge of my fabric down here. I can see through my ruler. Oh, Miss Robin, yes. Get the Singer 3337. That's what I have. It's really simple and basic. It's super user-friendly. Great for beginners. It gives you... that's not my cutting mat. What am I thinking? Holy smokes. I know what I can do. I was about to cut through my ironing mat. Got to busy talking and not paying attention to what I was doing. I'm going to grab, sorry to reach in front of you all. I'm going to grab my my pen right here because I don't want to pull my cutting mat back up here. I'm just going to make, did I make a line or did I not make a line? Let's see. This fabric is kind of dark. There we go. This is not going to show, so you're fine here. So I'm just going to snip it right across that line. So you want an 11-inch length. Now this one is probably a little bit shorter than, yeah, this is like 10 inches. So this would be great for like a teen that has a smaller wrist. So I'll set that aside for now. Now I need to fold this in half. And I need to make sure that I get it exactly even, okay? Meaning I want my edges to match up pretty close to perfect, all right? So let me stand up again and make sure. And then what we're going to do is we're going to press this one more time to get a real good clean edge, okay? Now, if this is a project that you want to come back to later, here's what I'm going to tell you. You all know that Facebook deletes our videos after 30 days. So if you share this out, which you totally can, you can share it and save it to your profile so that you can come back to it later. But after 30 days, it's going to be gone. What's going to happen if you want to see this after 30 days? Who knows? Who knows where you can find this video after the 30-day video expiration time is up? Anybody know? Chime in. I'm going to go ahead and turn my iron off because we are finished with that. We're going to let that cool. While it's cooling, I'm going to go ahead and put a little clip on it just so that it kind of holds its shape. Woohoo! Sorry about that, reaching in front of you. Miss Shelley, yes, this is, I use a Singer. It's a 3337. That's the model number. Just a basic Singer. And somehow this got off balance. Got off. It's just a basic Singer, basic model, nothing fancy, nothing electronic to it like computerized or anything like that, okay? Grabbed it at Walmart. I think it's for around $100. That's right! That's right, Miss Melanie! YouTube! Yes, Stephanie. All of my videos are available on YouTube for replay, okay? Because if they disappear on Facebook after 30 days, then you're not going to be able to find them. You want to go to my YouTube channel, okay? All right, so here's what we have. I have this. It's folded in half. You've seen this come together, right? It's folded in half. Now we have to stitch it. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to stitch down the side that's open where we folded it, okay? I'm going to make a stitch all the way down. Now, I should have changed my thread color to like a green or a black. I have a brown, which will be okay. It's a dark brown. I'm going to keep, here's my Singer. Good morning, Miss Gloria. Oh, my goodness. I bet it is. It's freezing here. Yes, Shelly. It's a Singer. This is called a Singer Simple, okay? And I described it at Hobby Lobby. Not Hobby Lobby, Walmart. Goodness, I can't think and talk at the same time today. That's right, Miss Karen. We'll head over to YouTube to find the video replays. So let's turn it on. I'm using a stitch length of 2, okay? And I'm just using a basic stitch, nothing fancy. And I'm going to keep my stitching very close to the edge. So let me show you what I did on this one. I do not know if you'll be able to see this up close. There you can. Do you see how close to the edge I did my stitch rows? Whoop, right there. Okay. That's about, that's probably like 1/8 of an inch. Okay. That's how close I did it. Now, I did that on both sides. And you'll want to use a thread color that will match your fabric. Okay. And if you want to make 2 more rows of stitching down this, down this, the center part, you can. I'm just going to go down on each side, okay? Hi, Miss Deborah. Hi, Miss Diane. So I'm basically going to put this up right underneath my presser foot. I'm going to get my placement just right, okay? Now let me zoom in here because I want you all to be able to see what we're doing here, okay? Without my hands being too much in the way. Goodness, I've got things making my table wobbly or something here. There we go. I What have I done? Okay. My presser foot is down. And I want to be sure that I lower my needle down into my fabric. All right, right there. Now, I know you're not going to be able to see this on camera, but what you'll need to do, let me get my little pointer stick. Sorry. My little pointer stick. You'll want to be sure that you keep your guide, you know, as you watch this feed through under here, you're going to want to try to keep it somewhat consistent. So there are usually little marker lines on your sewing plate here that will kind of help guide you. But under here, there's not much of a guide there. So you just kind of have to eyeball it. There are some other things that you can purchase that will kind of help guide you. Like this is a little magnetic piece that I can put right here that will kind of help guide my fabric as it feeds through so that it kind of keeps it balanced or even, I guess I should say. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with 2 back stitches, meaning I'm going to have to press my reverse button, okay, and hold it, and I'm going to press my foot pedal, and it's going to go back 1 or 2 stitches. 1 more, okay. That's going back, and now it's going to come forward, and that's going to lock those stitches in place so that they do not come unraveled. All right, now I'm trying to watch this and not get my head in front of the camera because it helps if I'm looking at it straight on so that I get everything lined up. And I don't have crazy wavy zigzag lines. Just try a few. Once you've made a couple, you'll get the hang of it. And you'll see, you'll learn from your first one. Don't expect your first one to be perfect. Now I'm almost down to the very bottom. I'm going to stop before I get to the very bottom. And I'm going to hit my reverse button. And I'm going to back up 2 or 3 stitches and let it be done. Now I've got to raise my needle up. There we go. And then I'm going to raise my presser foot up and pull that out. And let's snip those thread tails off. You want to be sure to leave your thread tails out about 5 or 6 inches so that they, you know, when you start and stop each time, you won't lose and have to rethread your needle. So that's one side. I should have used a green thread, but I'm okay with the brown. This is my own key fob wristlet. So now we're going to flip it over and we're going to stitch down this side. All right. So get everything lined up again to where you want it. I want it about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. That's called a seam allowance. How much room from the stitching to the edge are you allowing? That's what the seam allowance is, okay? I'm going to put my little magnetic guide right up there where I need it to kind of help be an extra set of hands up there, sort of. And I'm so close to the edge, I'm going to stitch forward a couple, and then I'm going to stitch back a couple. Okay, now we're ready to go all the way down. You can start and stop if you need to. Okay, I'm going to reposition my hands so that I can help guide. I'm not pushing it through, I'm just guiding it, okay, as it goes through. And now I'm getting close to the end, so I'm going to slow down, and I want to make sure that I back stitch a couple of times, and then I'm done. Pull that up. All right, I'm going to snip off those tails, thread tails, and I'm going to show you what we have right now. This is what we have. This is what we have. This is perfect. Can you see? This would be a perfect little strap for a little pouch, a little bag, or a little carry bag, a little tote bag. Okay. And that interfacing gives you that substantial feel, I think. Now here's what I'm going to do. This is totally optional. You don't have to do this, but I think it just will provide a little bit of stability. I'm going to fold this strip in half, okay? I'm going to match up the end pieces, and I'm just going to make a straight stitch across the bottom there to basically hold those two ends together, okay? Now, this is pretty hefty thickness here, so be careful. Your sewing machine may or may not like that extra thickness, so you want to go slow and don't rush it, okay? Because if so, you'll break your needle. And if you do, that's fine. Just put a new needle in, but I just want to save you the trouble if you don't have to do that. We don't want to do that. Okay, so I've cut off those thread tails. Now we're done with the sewing machine. What kind of heat and bond? What I'm using is the Heat and Bond fusible interfacing, okay? I grabbed this at Hobby Lobby, but you can grab it anywhere, okay? This is called Craft Extra Firm. It's iron-on fusible interfacing. It's $3.99 at Hobby Lobby. I'm sure it goes on sale too, okay? Now we're gonna pull out, let me tilt this down, we'll finish this off and we'll be done. Let's pull out one of these little key fob sets, okay? These are also from Hobby Lobby. If you didn't see it at the beginning, I told you where I grabbed all of my supplies, and I'll also send you some links to where you can find them on Amazon as well. This is clean edge, and it's going to be perfect sitting right in that little clamp, okay? And you want to make sure that you give it even pressure and clamp it tight. One side of that clamp has some little teeth marks, or some little teeth that grip that fabric, okay? And it helps hold it in place. How about that? So when you put the little key ring on, and these come in different colors. The only color they have at Hobby Lobby is the silver. But now on Amazon, you can get packages that have like a brass and like a brushed nickel look finish. I think you may be able to find some that are kind of like a black color as well. But if you get the silver, if you have rub and buff, you can also use the rub and buff as well for that, okay? So how cool is that? Make a whole set of these and give these to your nieces, your nephews. I mean, this is perfect for guys too. You can use a guy's fabric. Oh my goodness, I'm trying to zoom out. So you can really personalize these as well. I wonder if you wanted to personalize these, if you could use a light colored fabric, you could stencil. You probably could, Miss Chris. And if you're into embroidery, you could embroidery like a monogram on it, if you wanted to. Really, the sky's the limit. You could add some little decorative buttons down the front. I don't know. Get creative with them. And I want to see what you create. See those little clamps? They have some little teeth on the back that grip into the fabric and hold them into place. So you really want to get a good tight grip. So if you want all of the information on the items that I used today for this, head back to the beginning of the video where I showed you how to find them, what I'm using, and then some alternatives as well. I'll be sharing the Amazon link with you to some of these supplies as well. I have to go take my daughter to work. And then when I come back, I will send that out, okay? Love it. Good. I hope that you all create some of these. I can't wait to see yours. You can share them in my All Things Primitive group. I'd love to see them. You can also share them in our Craft on the Clock group. Share a photo. All right. I'll see you, I think, tomorrow. I think. I have a schedule posted on my page. I'll see you then.